Hello, everyone. I am Agathe from Join School in France. And first of all, thank you for being here today. And I wish you a happy new year. And I hope it will be better than 2020. As you know, I'm here today with Nathalie Quintin, who will talk about the Masters in Management program at ESCP Business School. And after her presentation, I will go into details regarding all the selection process through Join School in France. Of course, do not forget that you have the chat, so you can ask all your questions live, and we will do our best to answer it. But now I will let Nathalie to introduce her part regarding ESCP Business School.
Yes, thank you, Agathe. So hello, everyone. Same, Happy New Year, and we really hope that 2021 will be a great year for you. So thank you for being here today. So we will do a presentation of the Master in Management. I will move to the next slide. So as you may know, ESCP was founded in 1819. So I won't give you the whole history of the school, but it goes to show you that the school has been around for more than 200 years now. And we started out as a very international school from the beginning. The first class was actually made up of 1/3 of international students. So since day one, it's always been very much part of the DNA and the identity of the school. And as of now, we have 6 European campuses. So if you're here today, most likely you're interested in studying in France. So we do have a campus in Paris, which is the main site. And we also have locations in the UK, Spain, Italy, Germany, and Poland. And you will see, I will explain a bit later, that you will be expected to study in at least 2 different locations during your studies. And you can rotate on the different locations of the school every semester. So technically, you can study in up to 4 different European locations. We have, as I mentioned, very much a cross-cultural business education focus. We want to give you an international perspective on management issues, which is why we're expecting you to study in different campuses. We also have connection with the business world, so depending on which campus you choose, you will get access to the local job market and a network that has been implanted for a long time. So even if you're studying, for example, in Paris, but you may be interested in doing an internship in Germany, you can use the network from the Berlin campus and you can start looking for an internship in a different country at the same time as you're in France. And every aspect of the school is very much focused again on the internationality. So we have a very much an international faculty, more than 150 full-time professors, 120 affiliate or visiting professors, a network of nowadays more than 65,000 alumni working also everywhere in the world. So very international alumni community and more than 6,000 students that are enrolled in the school at any given time, representing almost 120 different nationalities. So you will also get a lot of that international exposure within the classroom with your fellow classmates and the professors. A history of excellence, so be assured that you will get the accreditation. So as of today, ESCP has the AACSB accreditation. It has the EQUIS accreditation, which is the European organization. And we also recently gained the EFMD MBA and Executive MBA accreditation. The program, the Master in Management, is ranked number 2 The Master in Finance is ranked number 2 worldwide in the Financial Times, and the Master in Management number 6. So it means also that companies are recruiting our students, since one of the main criteria in the ranking is the employability of students, and the job that you will be getting once you graduate, the level of salary, for example. Those criterion amount to a loss in the evaluation. So it means also that the high ranking means high chances of getting your dream job after the program. And we have a ranking number 4 in the Economist. So who is the MIM for? Get the question a lot. What is a typical candidate, the ideal candidate? Just so you know, we don't have any preference as far as the discipline that you've been studying for your undergrad. You don't have to have any previous knowledge of management or business. If you studied in a technical field or sciences, liberal arts, any field would be potentially interesting. But what we will need to understand is, of course, your career plan and how does the Master in Management fit into your career plan. So we want to make sure there is a coherent plan. We don't require previous work experience, but we do value highly internships. So at least one internship of 6 months would be preferred. Of course, we take into consideration your country of origin and if it was a part of the mandatory part of your curriculum during your bachelor or not. So we do understand that in some countries it's not a requirement. So you may have only 2 or 3 months of work experience in some cases. But any previous experience you have, even if it's volunteering or any activity that you may have outside of school, will be interesting. So we will be assessing all those elements in your background. And of course, you need to have an international ambition. If you're looking at studying abroad, we assume that you want an international career, but you will need also to explain in greater details your motivation during the application process and during the interview. So it's a general management course, but you do get a chance to pick 2 to 3 specializations. And since this year, it's actually possible to pick a specialization as early as the second semester of year 1. So we want to give more place to the courses that you're the most interested in, the most passionate about. And we made the core courses and the fundamentals of management as compact as possible. So you could go over the majority of courses during the first semester, and then you can move on to more specific courses during the rest of the program. As I mentioned, so it's a 2-year course, but depending on how much experience you have and how long the internships you're taking will last, it might be up to 3 years with a gap year or gap semester or semesters in between. You can gain also additional degrees. So by default, you will get the Master in Management, which is delivered by the French Ministry of Higher Education. But you can also gain a degree from the UK, from Germany, from Spain, from Italy, depending on the campus choices you make and the campus combination that you choose. And the class nowadays is actually more than 1,000 students every year. So it's a large cohort, but of course the group is broken down in smaller groups on the different campuses, and also for courses you won't be all together all the time. There will be smaller groups for case studies and specific courses, but many different networking opportunities for you. A lot of diversity, so I won't detail all the nationalities, but as you can see, the majority will be European, but there's more and more students coming from other continents as well. So it's a very international cohort. Um, the career report, I think it's something I just briefly mentioned before. Um, it's important for you to know when you graduate what happens after. 99% of students found a job within 3 months uh, after graduation. So again, it shows you that the chances of landing a job are very, very high. 42% of students work outside of their home country. So a lot of students choose to stay on after their studies and gain more experience in Europe. 67% of students are employed before graduation, so that's almost two-thirds of the class will get job offers before they even finish their classes. So it's very encouraging. And the average salary is around 55,000 euros per year on average. So again, it's a very good starting salary, which allows you to get a good return on your investment if you're concerned about how quickly you will be able to pay back your student loan or your parents. It will be a good indication also that most likely you will get an interesting first job with a good average salary. A lot of students go into the consulting industry and finance. I think it's the two main sectors typically. Growing sector nowadays, technology. We get a lot of interest in big data, data analytics. So I think a lot of students are getting into this type of jobs as well. You have the detail in the chart, and I think you have a more detailed report also on the website. So don't hesitate to have a look. Top employers, just to give you some indication of the companies which are employing our students. So as you can see, a lot in the consulting industry, in technology, Google, Amazon, more and more. Also luxury industry. I think a lot of students have some interest in working for big companies. So L'Oreal, for example, to name a few, Chanel, recruiting our students. Um, we will be organizing job fairs on a regular basis, usually on campus. This year it was all online, but there's many opportunities to work, to meet with prospective companies, and they're very interested in meeting with you, so you can meet directly with potential recruiters. And we organize job fairs by industry, by sector. So you will be able to have a full day dedicated to consulting companies, a full day dedicated to financial institutions and banking, insurance companies. So again, it's a foot in the door in some of those main big companies. But of course, if you're interested in also smaller companies, you will have access to a whole website where you can post your CV and get in touch directly with potential recruiters. The flexible study stream, sorry, as I mentioned, you can study in a minimum of 2 locations, a maximum of 4 in the 2 year of the program. You can study entirely in English, but if you do know any other European language, namely French, but also Spanish or German, you can choose sometimes to have some courses, some content in the local language as well. So it's interesting if you already are fluent in different languages. And depending on the combination, you can add on, as I mentioned earlier, the Master of Science from Germany, the MSc in Management from City University in London, the degree also from Carlos Hess university in Spain, etc. So you can gain more than just one degree. You can study, as I mentioned also earlier, if you don't have a previous degree in management or business, don't worry. You will get the prerequisite courses before the official kickoff of the program. So those courses are online and they usually start in July. So you have between July and September to get up to speed with the main management topics such as finance, economics, marketing, um, quantitative methods, accounting, etc. And then you have an exam at the end of the prerequisites. So we just want to make sure that you really grasp all the different topics and the different concepts. And then everyone starts in September together with the core courses for the first semester. Then you also have a seminar. So as you understand, ESCP has a strong focus on Europe. So we have a seminar where you get to visit the European Parliament in Brussels, and you can have some opportunities to understand policy making simulations. You have negotiation role plays, and the whole cohort is meeting in Brussels together. So it's a very, very interesting part of the program. And then you have the second year where you can choose your specialization. So we only listed a few. There's many more. There's more than 50 nowadays. So depending on which specialization you choose, you may study in a different campus. So you have to really think of the 2-year experience. And for example, if you have a very strong interest in one topic and it's only offered in London, then you will start, for example, the first year in Paris and then spend the second year in London. And then you can take the opportunity also to take a gap year or gap semester in between to gain some work experience. And you have also the possibility, we didn't list all of them because there's many exchange programs and dual degree programs. So you can spend one semester at a partner school. In that case, it's an exchange program. Or you can spend the full year, which is the second year, at the partner school. And in that case, you can gain a dual degree. And usually you get a chance to specialize also with the partner school. So for example, we have a new agreement with HEC Montreal in Canada on big data. I know that you can study finance in London, also in LBS, for example. So you have a lot of different possibilities, a lot of choices to make to really customize your program and so that it can really fit your career goals. Professional experience. So I mentioned it's roughly 9 months that are compulsory to get your degree. It can be several internships. We recommend 2 6-month internship is ideal because it's the duration where companies will give you interesting projects. If it's only 1 month or 2 months, they might not be so keen on giving you enough substance. So we really encourage you to have longer internships to make the most of that experience. You can get credit for previous experience up to 16 weeks. So, for example, if you did an internship during your bachelor and the mission that you had is consistent with our expectation, you will get credited 16 weeks, meaning that you will get only 20 weeks left to validate your degree. Internships can be anywhere in the world, so there is no obligation whatsoever to do it in France or even in Europe. It's really up to you. And we have more than 12,000 internship offers that are received at ESCP every year. So chances are also that you will find a great internship opportunity through the school network. So the fees and the scholarships. So we have a fee for EU citizens, which is 18,250 euros per academic year, and 21,850 euros for non-EU citizens. You can get scholarships based on merit. So it's at the time of admission when you receive your admission email. We let you know if you were granted a merit scholarship, which is based on your ranking in the admission round. And it ranges from 25% to 100% of the first year's tuition fee, which is quite good. And then EU citizens can be granted need-based scholarship through the school foundation. And then, of course, maybe Agathe will detail more also in our presentation. Make the most of Campus France because in your home country, chances are you have at least one, if not more, offices, and they're a great source of information for, of course, the visa arrangements, to prepare French classes, to learn French, to prepare your application, but also they can really help you with the scholarship opportunities. And because they're specific to each country, we didn't detail all of the different scholarships available. But to give you one example, Eiffel Scholarship is available to all international candidates, and they go through Campus France. So that's one that can apply to everyone. Only in the first round. So you need to be an early applicant. As of now, it will be too late for next year for the next intake, but it's something to keep in mind if you were to apply a bit later. And then you have all those websites that we listed because, again, we're giving you information. Eiffel Scholarship is if you study in France, but if you decide also to spend some time in the other locations that ESCP offers, then you may have different scholarships that can apply. So feel free to look on those websites that can be helpful. And then the application process. So we have two possibilities. You can apply directly to ESCP through the website, and it's an online application, or you can apply through Join a School in France. I will let Agathe detail the application process with more details. But just to give you the information, because I know you probably wonder, we don't have a preference as an institution. So for us, we receive applications either directly or through Join a School in France. And the calendar, the timeline for submitting your application is roughly the same. As you can see, it's 4 different sessions per year. And we evaluate all the candidates of one specific round, regardless of whether you applied directly or through Join a School in France. So you're really evaluated with the same criteria altogether. And for us, it's really a matter of which application process is more convenient for you. So if you're interested in applying to more than one school, it makes sense, of course, to apply through Join a School in France, because you can then simplify the process, and it's only one application and one interview for the 5 schools of the consortium. But I will let I will let Agathe tell you more about this. And then just a small recap. So the benefits of the program, as you understand, we want to give you exposure, the international exposure, and understanding the business world. So it's becoming a necessity nowadays to understand the multicultural dimension of businesses. So we're really preparing you for that. Of course, we help you with your career plan. Even though it's a general management course, you may have already an idea, a more precise idea about where you see yourself in the future. So we will really help you through the specialized courses options and the in-company work experience internship. We help you build your career plan. And we want to give you also, of course, very much an international, multicultural network. So you gain this through the school for the rest of your career. So once you join ESCP, it's your network for the rest of your life. So uh, we will be here to accompany you then for the rest of your career. Um, so I think that's it for me. Um, I will let Agathe continue. Sorry, I moved to the next slide.
Thank
But
you. Thank you
I
very
will,
much, Nathalie.
thank you, Agathe. I will stay I will just get the camera and the sound, but I'm still here. So I will be here
Uh,
to take the
just one
questions.
thing, Nathalie, you have a
Yeah.
lot of questions for you.
Okay. So I'm
I
staying
let
on.
you, yes, I let you read the questions because the first one is Ishan, Deep Sharma. Can you see the question of Isham?
Yes, yes. Sorry, I was on. I
Yes.
wasn't on the chat, so now I opened it.
This
Okay,
is
so
apart from international mind and academic excellence, what are the special criteria which admission departments wants, etc.?
Well, we're asking you to have, I would say, a career plan. You don't end up in a business school in France by chance. We need to understand how a master in management, how a business degree will help you in your career. So, I'm giving an example. If you studied engineering and now you're interested in studying business, you have to be in a position where you can explain why you feel the business degree is going to help you. Probably you want to be in a managerial position, or you see yourself in a yeah, top management position in the future, and you will need to have that well-rounded experience of business, and that's what the school can provide, for example. So we need to understand your plan, where you see yourself in the future. The motivation is very important. We need to understand why you want to come and study in France. Again, it seems very obvious, but sometimes we ask students, where else do you apply? And they tell us, I'm applying to schools in Australia and in the US and in France. So we need to understand also the specificities of why France or why Europe. We want to understand your position and your motivation. So that's that. Academic excellence, as you mentioned, is very important. We want to recruit the top students, and of course, yeah, that's that. And the personality. Maybe it's not written anywhere, no school will tell you, but I think it's as much your knowledge, and of course, it's important to be intelligent and motivated. But then it's also you need to be team oriented. There will be a lot of group work, a lot of teamwork during your studies. So we're looking also at behavioral patterns or specificities, and we want someone who will be again very interested in sharing your experience. If you're coming from another country, it's interesting. What do you bring to the table when you have group work with students coming from other places, and you bring your culture, your experience? So it's always very, very interesting for everyone. So we're interested also at with the personality and in a nutshell.
Thank you. You have more questions. So the second one is, how can you get the Italian laureate? Can you see the question?
No, sorry, I need. Oh, okay, it's not scrolling for the two of us. I don't have all the different criteria because it's different for every country. I know for the Italian laurea, you need to study the pre-master year in Turin. So there is a pre-master year that's available for students with an associate degree. So it's equivalent to 2 years after your high school diploma. But some students with a 3-year bachelor can also join the pre-master year. And in that case, if you take it in Turin, you're eligible for the laurea. I think there are other criteria that are listed, but I can share that with you if you want to send me an email. I think towards the end of the presentation, you should be getting my email. I can send you a chart where you have listed all the different requirements for gaining those degrees.
And regarding the first semester 2021, is going to be online or offline?
I don't have a crystal ball, so sadly, it will be difficult to tell you. We're prepared for both. If it has to be online, it will be online. If it can be on site, in person, of course, we will always prioritize, the on-campus experience. But if it's not possible, we can switch online. To give you an example, students who joined the school in September 2020, they had the choice. Since there was no lockdown, at least in Paris and Turin, London, Madrid, and our other locations. So students were able to start on campus, but students who couldn't travel to Europe, students who were maybe from Asia, for example, they had the possibility to study online the first semester. So there was a choice. I don't know for sure what it will be in September, 9 months from now. But either way, you will be informed, of course, as things evolve throughout the year, but we're prepared for both. So,
Perfect. And how has COVID impacted the job research for MIM graduates?
it's a bit early also to say. I think a lot of students had to do their internships, at least partly from home, working from home. So obviously, it's not the same as being in company and having all those interactions that you can get when you're doing an internship in a company. But it didn't impact as far as finding an internship. It's more like the modalities of how the internship happened that changed, but the job prospects are still good. Of course, we're still kind of in the middle of the COVID. Feels like it's a bit early to give you a trend, but we can put you also in contact, of course, with students, so you get feedback firsthand from students who were in your position last year and who were looking for internships. So
And also, we can add that alumni, international alumni, can help the students because you have a huge community of alumni. And there is another question from Lamali Yassine. I was wondering whether we could be admitted to ESCP if we had studied 2 years in an Algerian preparatory cycle.
From Algeria, I don't think so. I know we have students who did preparatory classes in Morocco and who take the concours prépa. I don't know the word in English. We don't have a preparatory class admission process, but from Algeria, I'm not sure. If you can send me an email on it's MIM Global, MIM Global at escp.eu. I can check with the person responsible for admissions, and she will be able to tell me. But I have not heard from students doing preparatory classes in Algeria so far. So yeah, it will be worth checking for you.
And I think the last one, do you prefer candidates that present original professional projects or basic ones, consulting, finance, etc.?
Um, if we take into consideration other experience, well, we do, but it has to have some link with uh, managerial questions. So If it's sales job, in a shop, for example, it might not be sufficient. But if it's a job where you have first, you're at the front line with clients, and you have maybe other responsibilities as well that can be interesting. But on a case to case, we're looking at all the different experiences that you gain. And as far as admission is concerned, all experience is interesting. So it doesn't have to necessarily be in consulting or finance. We understand that maybe you're joining also a business school to be able to gain that kind of experience. So we're looking at all experience.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nathalie, for your time and for this presentation. I'm sure it helps a lot our students. And now I will follow the presentation with the selection process through Join School in France. So, hello guys, can you hear me? It's okay for you? Are you still here? Yes, okay. Thank you very much. So, I don't know if you know Join School in France. Maybe you already applied through Join School in France. Oui, okay, yes. Thank you. So, Join School in France is a website where you can apply with only one application to 5 business schools in France and in Europe, because ESCP Business School is also based in Europe. So this is really an advantage for you, because for most of the students through Join School in France are from everywhere in the world, and we are the link with the 5 business schools, and we help you all along your process, all along your application. So this is a real advantage for you. And all you need to do is to start your online application on the website joinasschoolinfrance.com, and to upload all the documents. So the documents are identity documents, such as your identity card, your passport. Then you have to upload your diploma. And if you are not graduated from a school, and or if you graduate in, for example, in June 2021, it's okay, you can apply. You just have to be graduate before September 2021. So if you do not have a diploma, you can upload the proof that you are enrolled in a school. Then you have to upload all your academic transcripts regarding your bachelor or your license, because one of the most criteria that is really important to apply is that you need to be an international student. So it means that you have to study 3 years at least in an international school, and to get a diploma, for example, a bachelor or a license or a master. So if you have a bachelor, a license, a master, and you study at least 3 years in an international school, it's okay. You can apply. Then you have to speak English, because all the master will be taught into English in the at the 5 business schools. The masters in management will be taught in English, so you have to upload an English test. So the English test is the IELTS, the TOEFL, the Cambridge, or I think the TOEIC. You also need to upload your written test. The written test is really important. This is so just here. The written test is a test to give your level for the 5 business schools. So this is the GMAT, the GRE, TAJMAJ, or the CAT, but I suggest you to focus on GMAT, TAJMAJ, and GRE. It's better if you have this kind of test. And I insist on the fact that for the English test and for the written test, you are not obliged to have a minimum score. We do not ask for a minimum score. Why? Because all the 5 business schools have different criteria. So you just have to do your best, and if you are not satisfied about your results, you can take many times the test, and to do your best each time in order to have the best score as possible. So this is the same for English test and written test. Of course, the English test, you are not obliged to upload an English test if your mother tongue is English, of course. But you have to prove it. So you can upload your American passport, for example, or you can upload the, the proof that your studies that the medium of instruction of your studies was in English. Then I don't know if I'm clear. Do not hesitate to tell me if I'm not clear. This is the end of the day, so sometimes my English is not good. So just one little time to read your question. Okay, format. Oh, okay. You can't hear me? So do not worry if you cannot hear me. You will receive the replay. So this is registered. So I will send you the replay of the webinar tomorrow. Is in English. Okay. Yes. Okay. I answered. Okay. Then. Okay, thank you very much. So we can follow the process. So the presentation. So English test, written test, really important, and focus on this test because they are really important within your application. Without these documents, you will not be eligible, and I will not be able to send your application to the 5 business schools. So then your resume. Regarding your resume, you have to upload it. There is no format. We just need to see your personal data, your academic background, your professional experience if you have it, and your hobbies. This is an important part also. And you have 2 academic recommendation letters to upload into your application. We ask for academic. The schools prefer academic recommendation letter, but if you have one professional and one academic, it is okay. There is no format for regarding the recommendation letters. All we need to see is the contact of your referee, professor or director, something like this. So the contact of your referees, email address, position, and also all all your competencies, your skills that you have. And you are not obliged to put the stamp of the school. We understand if you can't have it, it's okay. The letterhead is not obliged to, is not mandatory. All we need to see is a clear letter of all your competencies and your skills and the contact of your referee. So here you have the perfect letter of recommendation because there is a stamp, the letterhead, the contact of the referee, and the letter. Regarding the payment proof, the payment proof is not your bank account. No, this is just the proof, the payment proof corresponding to the 2,000 euros tuition fees paid to join a school in France because we will analyze and check all your documents, and we take time to do this. We guide you all along the process, and then we send your application to the 5 business school. And if you are eligible to the 5 business schools, or to one, at least one school, you will take an interview. So we will organize an interview for you in your country. This is an advantage with Join a School in France, because you will have the opportunity to take an interview in your country or in your city, and you will be interviewed by 2 alumni or 2 jury members. The jury members are mostly alumni. I don't know if you know what is an alumni. An alumni is a former student from ESCP Business School, HEC Paris, Schema, EM Lyon, or Audencia. So I will recruit alumni as jury members, and they will interview. They will ask you questions regarding your academic background, regarding your hobbies, your motivation, your skills, sometimes general culture also. And it will be around 30 minutes in English, of course, in English, because I insist on this fact. The master in management will be in English, so everything has to be in English. Um, where will be the interview? The interview will be organized in a French institution in your city, or in your country. So in French embassies, Campus France, Lycée Français, partner schools, or Chamber of Commerce. And it's a really great experience. So then what can I say more? Do you have questions regarding the selection process? Oh, yes, of course. One detail. We have 4 sessions within the years, 4 rounds. So there is absolutely no difference between the 4 rounds. Now we are in round 2. The deadline, the application deadline is is tomorrow, January 7th. So it's always the same process for each round, and there is no difference. It's just to organize your interview. It's to give you time. If you prefer applying to session 3, it's okay. Session 4, there is no difference. The only thing is just for your organization and for our organization, and that's all. Okay, so thank you. Yes, so we just have to upload the scanned copy of the letter of recommendation. Regarding the recommendation letters, you can upload the recommendation letters by yourself into your application. And if it's not possible, if your professor prefer send us directly the letter, it's okay. They can send us the recommendation letter through by email at Join a School in France. So this is the email address on the chat. I've write the email address. You have question for Natalie?
Yeah, I'm jumping back in because I saw in the chat there were some questions that were more for the school, so I'm here to answer them. I saw a question actually about the GMAT. Someone was asking if there is an ideal GMAT score for the ESCP. I can tell you we don't have cutoff scores, so our advice is always to aim for the highest. And since you're applying through Join a School, all the schools will be looking at your application and test scores. as as a representative from ESCP, I can tell you we will be looking at the overall application. And I know someone else was asking the way of the management score in the evaluation. For us, the GMAT or equivalent test is 10% of the overall grade, but I'm only talking for ESCP. It might be different for the other schools. So it's still an important criteria, but you can definitely balance things out also with very strong motivation and very good academic records. So that's not the most important criteria for it.
Okay. So you can just to be more precise regarding the application, you can only apply once per year. But there is no problem if you want to reapply next year through Join a School in France. However, I think that for the schools, for example, if you apply this year for September 2021 and you have something that happened and you can't go to France, um, if you are admitted um, to one school, you can do a report. I don't know how to say it in English. Um, ah, ton micro. Il n'y a pas ton micro.
Def- Wait, sorry, it's a deferral.
Deferral. OK.
Yeah.
You can do a deferral. C'est comme ça qu'on dit?
You can ask for a deferral. Yeah.
OK. Thank you, Nathalie. Yes, you need to reapply. Gap problem. What about the 90%, please? What do you mean about the 90%?
Yasin was asking, well, it's only at ESCP, so it doesn't necessarily apply to the other schools. So the strategy, I would say, if you're applying through Join a School, you need to take into consideration all of the schools. For ESCP, you can find the detail on the website on the admission section. But basically, we grant 10% of the evaluation to the management test, 20% to the English proficiency, 40% the profile review, which is your academic background and work experience, international exposure, um, volunteering, extracurricular activities, and then the last 30% it's the interview if you're eligible for the program. So if you're shortlisted for the interview, but that might differ in the other schools.
So I am answering the question. Ishan, this is a good question. If you prefer one school within the 5 business schools, there is no problem and it's normal. And you can clearly tell to the jury members or whatever, you can clearly tell that your favorite choice, for example, is ESCP Business School. And this is not the reason why the other schools will reject you. No, it's not like that. You can tell your favorite choice, and there is no problem with that. And just one thing regarding the interviews. This is only one interview for the 5 business schools. So you will probably have 2 jury members, and the 2 jury members will be from maybe ESCP Business School and the other one from EM Lyon. But if you prefer schema, this is not a problem because the alumni will recruit you. Um, uh, this is a common application, and they are totally aware that this interview is a common interview for the 5 business schools. So even if they come from ESCP or EM Lyon and you prefer schema, this is not a problem. This is a common application, and they know that. And I don't know if I'm clear, but tell me if I'm not clear. Yes, the process can take up to 2 months, as you can see here. But 2 months from the deadline, the application deadline, until the admission results. And there is a lot of steps within this process. So first of all, for example, tomorrow you will complete your application and you will submit it. I will check your application. Then, if all your documents are certified, I will send your application to the 5 business schools. Then the 5 business schools will tell me if you are eligible to take an interview for each school. If you are at least eligible to one business school, I will organize an interview for you in your country, and then I will send you an official invitation to go to this interview with the 2 jury members in a French institutions in your city. Then I will get your result, yes, the result of your interview. I will send the result of your interview to the 5 business schools or to the schools you were eligible for the interview. So if you were eligible to 3 business schools to take an interview, I will get your interview results of these 3 business schools. I will send the 3 no, sorry, I'm totally lost. The 3 business schools will tell me if you are accepted to following your interview, and then this is the admission result to say if you are accepted, admitted to the 3 business schools. So this is a huge process, but that's why it's really important to be aware of this long period. But this is not so long. This is just fair. It's important to evaluate you um, regarding your level, of course, your grades, your documents, but also it's important to integrate an interview because this is a great experience for you. You will be able to ask your questions to the jury members. You will meet jury members. This is like a job interview, and this process is I think that this is one thing really important in your student career, because it's like a job interview, and that is why the process is a little bit long, but it's the best way to integrate your favorite school. Because you will be playing at the same time. Are you going to ask her? During the interview, it depends a lot. The questions can be focused on your hobbies, on your motivation. The jury members can ask you. In this case, they can ask you what is your favorite school, and they will write on the paper that you prefer to go to ESCP Business School, maybe. Um, and exactly why you want to join a specific school, and they can, if this jury member come from ESCP, he will be able to see if you can integrate the school also. So they can totally ask you these questions. And it can also be general question, general culture, maybe the country situation regarding the crisis, the worldwide crisis right now. Um, so, do you have other questions for Natalie?
I'm answering right now one question on the chat.
Yes, you will be. You will know before the interview. We will send you an email with the 5 links of the schools, and you will check your results to know if you are eligible to take an interview for each schools. So you will know for which school you will take an interview, of course.
I get someone is asking about our email addresses. I think they were
Ah, yes,
in the beginning of the presentation or
yes.
the very end. I don't remember, but there
Uh,
is a slide with our contacts, so maybe we can
yes.
show it again.
Up here. And your email address, maybe, Nathalie?
Yes,
Okay, and the email address is here. This is the Join a School in France team. You have all the contact here. This is a question for you,
yes.
Nathalie Alain.
I just answered the question from Alain. I don't know. I see you posted it again. I answered your question. We have more than 7,500 students in the school, all programs combined. So yes, it's realistic that we get more than 12,000 offers because do get many offers, and they're not all only for ESCP students. Sometimes you have companies that want to recruit students from business schools, so they send in the same offer to ESCP, HEC, to all of the main business schools. So some offers are not exclusively for ESCP students. So, but that's the number, yes.
Thank you very much for attending this webinar. Thank you very much, Nathalie, for your participation and for all the presentation and your advice. And I hope that we will do another webinar in a few months, maybe. Thank you very much, everyone, and do not hesitate to follow us on social media because we are really active on on the social media. We published a lot of advice and activities regarding the schools. So do not hesitate to follow us. And thank you very much. Tomorrow I will send you the replay of the webinar, and I wish you all the best.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.